listening to the Top Music Guitar Podcast, the show for guitar teachers to learn about the craft of teaching great guitar lessons that students love. If you're looking to start or expand your studio and make guitar teaching your full-time dream job, you've come to the right place. Each week, you'll get to hear from some of the top guitar teachers from around the globe and get their best tips and experiences so you too can build your own dream studio. I'm your host, Michael, and I've founded one of the top guitar schools in Australia, written a best-selling curriculum, and I mentor guitar teachers. I'm excited to share my expertise with you and the wisdom of all the experts we interview. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's get into it. Hello there guys, it's Michael here and welcome to another episode of the Top Music Guitar Teaching Podcast. We've got another solo episode for you. I've got a ton of great interviews lined up, but they keep on falling through. A couple of internet disruptions, a couple of last minute cancellations, or all postponing it because the interviews will take place. But unfortunately, we just haven't, after having almost 8 weeks of not doing an interview because I had such a big backlog of them, we are in a drought of having people available to interview. So if you do know a really cool guest who we could get on the podcast, maybe you're a guitar teacher yourself doing something wonderful in the guitar teaching world, and you want to be on the podcast, you want to talk about a book you've got, a program you run, a software or an app that you've created, then we would love to hear from you. We would love to have you as a guest on the podcast. So with that in mind, guys, I just want to take a moment to mention that at Top Music, we have a membership. It is $49 a month, and you get access to over 20 guitar teaching courses that I've made, over 50 generalized teaching and music, whether that's teaching your skills or running a music business or advertising, a whole bunch of really cool things. For less than the price of what you'd probably charge for a private lesson, you get a month's worth of content, and it'll really change your life. It'll improve your skills dramatically, which will lead to better lessons for your students, more satisfying teaching for you, and of course, on the back end, more money. Now, with that over and done with, let's talk about today's topic, and that is how to not be scared of advertising in your business. So one of the biggest problems you're going to face as a guitar teacher, whether you're running a solo show or even if you're working for someone else, is this problem of not having enough students. If you're working for yourself or you work somewhere else but you teach a little bit on the side, the more students you can get, the more money you can make. If you're working for another music school or as part of another business, if you're not the one getting assigned students or the school isn't getting you enough students, then you're not making enough money. So we've got this universal problem of we need more students. And how do we get more students? Well, the simple answer is to advertise. Now, a lot of people are scared about advertising because we don't know how to do it, and we're worried that we're going to waste money. And many people don't want to invest the money because they don't want to lose it. And I understand it can be really scary. If you don't know how to advertise, if you don't know how to go out and find more students, it can be really, really daunting. So today I'm going to hopefully clear up a few things around the topic of advertising and hopefully show you how not to be scared of advertising your business. So when it comes to advertising, I kind of have three favorite methods. The first one is flyering, and we talked about that in the previous episode, how to get guitar students fast. One of my favorite methods is flyering, and that could mean putting a little printout in people's mailboxes. It could mean getting a tear tag poster or a flyer and putting them up on all the notice boards in your community, or a mix of both. That's a really cheap, really cost-effective way of advertising. And for about $50, you can print up a bunch of flyers, put them up around town, and hopefully get some students. So the first thing to do is realize that it doesn't actually cost that much to start advertising. So if you're scared of spending $50, like you shouldn't really be in business. And what are you going to spend it on otherwise? Are you going to spend it on cigarettes and smoking? Are you going to spend it on alcohol? Are you going to spend it on cheeseburgers at McDonald's? If you can go without something for a week, not spend on a couple of coffees for the week and take that money and use it to make a couple of flyers, all you need is one student who pays you $50 for an hour, or if they pay you $25 for a lesson and they pay 4 lessons with you, a month of lessons, that's going to be $50 to $100 right there. So you've already made your money back. And that's going to lead into one of the keys of today of not being scared, is realizing that if you invest into advertising and you do it properly, then there should always be a return on your investment. And hopefully you come out on top. So flyering is one of the cheapest, most cost-effective ways to get into advertising. And you can pretty much do it with the technology you have access to on your computer. I'll do an episode about making flyers a bit later on, but you can easily make flyers using a free website like Canva or Photoshop if you've got it, or even Microsoft Word, good old humble Microsoft Word. Now, my second favorite method is Facebook ads. Now, Facebook ads can be bigger and scarier and more daunting, especially if you haven't done it before. And if you have tried it, but you spent $20 on it and you didn't get a single lead and you gave up and thought you got scammed and you swear you're never going to use Facebook again, well, you probably didn't do it properly. And I've got my very special Facebook module available right now. So if you go to www.sixfigureguitarteacher.com, I've got a special Facebook ads module. For $99, I show you exactly how to set up an ad with a pre-recorded video, step-by-step, guiding you every step of the way. And I give you access to my 3 best highest performing ads ever, which you can take and template and take all the thinking and the hard work out of it for you. So if you are interested in getting into Facebook ads, you can check that one out. My third favorite method is coming up as a top ranking search terminology on Google. So whether you do paid Google ads or whether your website is set up and ranks well on Google, so when people search guitar lessons in your town or city or location, you come up hopefully on page number 1, hopefully in the top 3 positions. If you can get in the top 3 positions naturally without paying money, that is one of the best things you can ever do in your business. It's absolutely wonderful. It can take a while to get there. So if you want to invest into Google ads, you can kind of just pay your way to the top using their system there. So I'm not going to talk about how to do that. I can definitely show you in my 6-figure program, and we talk about that a little bit in the Top Music program as well. I can teach you how to do that. But the main thing is you need to select a method and you need to start advertising. Flyers are really cheap and inexpensive. Facebook ads, once you know what you're doing, is very, very cost effective and very, very powerful. And Google ads probably has the highest quality leads. And you can take a long time to get to page 1 on Google naturally, or you can use the ads and pay a bit more to get the result pretty much straight away. So they're my 3 favorite methods, which I beg you consider. Now, how do we not be scared of advertising in your business? And there's a couple of things you need to do, but realize that, it's hard to make a bad decision when you're educated. And if you can take some steps to do a little bit of research to understand your numbers and statistics, then you can make well-informed, statistically informed decisions guided by evidence and data. So the first thing that you need to do to not be scared of advertising in your business is to calculate the lifetime value of your customers. Now, if you don't have any students yet, because you're starting out, you can't really do this equation, but the maths is still going to work in your favor for step number 2. If you work for someone else, you don't really handle the money or anything like that, you can at least still do a calculation here. So the first thing you need to do is calculate your lifetime customer value, and it's going to give us 2 valuable statistics. So what you need to do is count up the total number of students you've taught. That could be over a period of 12 months, or it could be of the whole lifestyle. Just pick a time period, because if you've been doing this for 30 years, you don't necessarily have to go back for 30 years of data. It would be helpful to, but you can just do a select time period. So let's just say we're going to go through everyone we've taught in the last 3 years if you've been teaching for 3 years. So what's going to happen, let's just say you've taught 12 people, because I just want to keep the maths nice and simple. So I'm going to get my calculator out. Let's say I've taught 12 people. Let's say I've taught 5 people to make the maths even simpler, so you can do this on your calculator here. So let's say we've taught 5 people in our whole guitar teaching career. The first person stayed with us for 12 months. So what we're going to do is take 12 transactions. Let's just assume they're paying monthly. They pay us $50 an hour. They do 4 lessons a month. They pay us $200 per month. So person number 1 has paid us 12 transactions. I'm just going to write these down so when I refer back to it in the next part of the podcast, we don't miss anything. So person number 1 does 12 transactions. Person number 2 stayed with us for 5 months. They did 5 transactions. Person number 3 stayed us for 7. Person number 4 stayed with us for 10. And person number 5 stayed with us for 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that up. So 12 plus 5 plus 7 plus 10 plus 3, that gives us 37. We're going to divide that by 5. That gives us 7.4. So we've had 5 customers. They stayed with us for an average of 7.4 months. So our retention rate, how long we retain a customer, is an average of 7.5 months. So at least 7 transactions there. So that's our retention rate. anyone who walks through that door is going to stay with us for an average of 7 months. We'll round it down there. Then we calculate our lifetime value. So if we charge $50 a lesson, $200 per month, we're going to go 7 or 7.4 times 200, what we charge monthly. So that gives us a lifetime value of 1,480. So that means that for every customer we get, they are going to likely result in $1,480 worth of revenue generated from that customer. So I'll talk you through those maths again. You take the total number of students you've taught, customers you've had, you count up the number of transactions they've done with you or the months they've stayed with you, and then you divide that by the total number of students to get your average retention. Then you take that retention and you multiply that by your monthly rate, your monthly tuition fee, and that will give you the lifetime value. So if your customer has paid you $1,480, then you can spend $1,479 on advertising to acquire that customer and still come out with $1 profit by the end of their lifetime. Now, hopefully, if we invest $50 into flyers or $100 into Facebook ads and we get one client, for every one client we get, we are going to earn $1,480 worth of revenue, which is a really, really good return on your investment. And I'm just going to bring up a percentage calculator just for the sake of getting this right. But let's just say if we invest $100 into Facebook ads or flyers, doesn't matter, and we get one student, that one student pays us $1,480. So we've basically spent $100, we got $1,480. So that's a return of $1,380. That is a 1,280% return on your profit. If you invest $100 into shares, you're probably going to get $7 return, a 7% return. If you invest $100, obviously you've got to scale it up. If you invest $1,000, $100,000 into property, you're only going to get to 7%, 12% maximum, very small return. For every $100 you spend on advertising, if you get one person back on that and they spend $1,480, you've made a 1,280% return. Where else can you get that kind of return? I literally don't know why people invest in stock markets or Bitcoin or housing, because you literally can't get that same kind of return. Of course, you've got to put in some work and effort for it, but this is very, very profitable. So guys, if you do those numbers, and that's just your average, and that's with 5 people. If you spent $100 and you got 5 clients and they all paid you that much, we'll do the numbers there. It was our average. What did we have? It was 1,480 was our average. Let's just say we got 5 clients. So 1,480 times 5 is 7,400. So let's just say 7,300. So if we spend 100 and we generate 7,300, that is a 7,200% return on our money. Absolutely crazy, guys. So this is how you got to think about things. Like literally investing in your business and advertising in your business is one of the safest ways to get a return on your investment and money. So that's the first thing you need to do to not be scared of advertising, is to get your statistics and then basically run your numbers and see that, yes, if I invest this much and my ad works, then of course I could expect to get this much back. And would you guys spend $100 to get back 1,380? If you had a machine where you put a $1 coin in and it gave you back $10, even more, if you put a $1 coin in and it gave you $1,000 back, you would just keep on putting money in the machine till you got so rich or so bored of it that you couldn't do it anymore. That's how you got to think about advertising. Don't be worried about spending $50 and losing $50 when the upside is so much higher than that. Which leads us to our second point. The money is on the back end. And that's to do with, if you spend $50 and you get one client, again, they're going to stay with you for $1,400 worth or even more. Remember, some guy stayed for 12 months. That's $2,400 from one customer alone. The average number is something we want to boost. So the money is on the back end. The longer the people stay with you, the more money they're going to spend. And that's just assuming you're not doing all these other offers. Yeah. What if they do 6 months of lessons with you, but they also buy a guitar starter pack from you, that they buy 2 or 3 of your ebooks or sign up for another one of your online courses? So you might just spend $100 to acquire them as a customer. And by the way, most of my Facebook customers are acquired for anywhere from $7 to $15. So for every $15 you spend on Facebook ads, you should get a client. Very, very cheap. But if you can spend $10 to $15 to get a client and then not just get them for 12 months of lessons or 7 months of lessons and make $1,400 off that much, if you can get them to buy a book or to come to a course or do some extra workshops on you, you can keep on making additional money and additional profit out of the advertising. So it becomes very, very lucrative when you think outside the box and go, how can I increase the amount of money this customer is spending with me? Now, this is tied closely to point number 3 of how to not be scared of advertising your business. And that is realizing that the money is in the retention. You need to do everything you can to prolong the life of your customer, to keep them happy and learning with you so they spend more money. And no, this isn't about milking them for every dollar that they're worth, grabbing them by the ankles and holding them upside down and shaking every coin out of their pocket. It's not about that. It's about believing that the longer they spend time with you, the better they are going to get at their instrument. Like anything, you don't want people learning with you for 3 months and going off and trying to learn by themselves. You want them to be with you for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You want to watch little kids start with you age 6 or 7 and go all the way through primary school and high school and come out the other end as really good guitar players, as a friend of the family, as someone you're going to have impacted for their entire life. So you need to be providing high quality lessons. You need to be having active and engaging programs for them. You need to not just always have the same lesson, but have workshops, have all these exciting things, have great relationships with them, help them improve, help them get what they come to you for lessons and pay for, great results. And that will convert into longer retention. If you have a huge impact on the lives of your students, they're going to stay for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And instead of paying $1,400, they'll spend $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. I've got clients who've paid me over $30,000 in the last 3 or 4 years alone from an advertisement that cost me less than $100. So that's how you got to think about it. So guys, don't be scared of advertising. It really is the greatest way to fast track your business and get clients fast. It's very, very important that you do that. So if you're scared of advertising, don't be scared. It is quite easy to do. And I implore you, try some flyers, try some Facebook ads, try some Google ads. Listen to the previous episode of this podcast where I talk about 3 ways to get students fast and guide you through what to do. But advertising is the fastest way to amplify it. And the online methods like Facebook and Google are even better. So having said that, guys, if you're motivated to go out and advertise it, but you're not quite sure how to get started, hit me up by going to www.sixfigureguitarteacher.com and you can find my Facebook's advertising bundle. Or if you're unsure, email me, michael@topmusic.co, and say, tell me some more about Facebook advertising. I'd love to know more. And I'm happy to help you guys out. So guys, don't be afraid. Run your numbers, figure out your retention and how much money you gain to stand. You stand to gain, said that the wrong way around. And then go out and advertise. If you need help advertising, I'm only 1 email or a couple of clicks on a website away. Thank you so much, guys. That brings us to the end of this episode here. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe to our channels. Please leave a positive review on wherever you listen to this podcast. That would really help us out. And if you want active coaching in your guitar teaching to improve your guitar teaching skills, head to topmusic.com/guitar or just Google search Top Music Guitar and you can find out more about Top Music Pro memberships. If you want some more active business coaching to find more students, then we've got sixfigureguitarteacher.com. Check that out as well. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you in next week's episode. If you enjoy this show and want to hear more of our work, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, including a free ebook on how to find more guitar students, visit us at www.topmusic.co/guitar or check out the show notes. And lastly, thanks again for listening and we'll see you in the next episode.